In this video, I will introduce you to the essential components that will be used for the maintenance, repair, assembly, and disassembly of unmanned aerial vehicles. First, if we need to get to know a drone up close, our drone's GPS, flight control board, and receiver unit are located on the upper layer. First of all, if we need to get to know a drone up close, our drone's GPS, flight control board, and receiver unit are located on the upper layer. As you can see, the GPS is positioned approximately 10 meters away from the body in order to also remove it from the magnetic field by means of a rod. It has been elevated between 5 to 10 cm. At the same time, at the very end of our arms, we have motors that are connected to our motor mounts. And these motors are connected to our ESCs. Our ESCs are installed in a battery compartment on the underside of the drone, as you have seen. I advise you not to forget this. If our batteries are not in use, they should be disassembled and stored. I will talk about some of the equipment necessary for the assembly and disassembly of our drone. You can use the Allen wrench set to remove the screws on our drone. With the pliers you see here, you can hold the assembly with any movement. Especially using a rubber-tipped claw or cargo nose pliers, you can handle the drone's mechanical parts without causing any damage. Your wire cutters are broken. If there are any cables or electronic components, you can use this to separate the faulty part from the body without damaging the other materials. You can use smaller pliers to separate smaller electronic or mechanical parts like screws or wing nuts from the body. If there's a spot that needs to be cut or scraped in our situation, we can do that with a scalpel. I recommend being especially careful when using scalpels, as their tips are very sharp. You can cut different sizes of cables with your various models of wire cutters. I recommend being especially careful when using scalpels, as their tips are very sharp. You can cut different sizes of cables with your various models of wire cutters. Especially considering that there might be a complex tangle of cables in the situation, you need to be very careful while cutting them. Because of this, you can use wire cutters with different sizes and jaw structures. Especially considering that there might be a complex tangle of cables in the situation, you need to be very careful while cutting them. Because of this, you can use wire cutters with different sizes and jaw structures. Our toner screws are specifically used to separate covers or moving parts on the drone. Because we connect our moving parts with screws, and we use star or flat-headed toner screws to separate these screws. At the same time, if we're using an Allen wrench and a bolt, we can also separate them using the Allen wrench set, just like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. There are numbers on the Allen wrench set. You can use metric 3, metric 4, or even metric 5 on your drone. The screws are usable. It can go down, metric 2. It varies depending on the size of the drone. You can use the Allen wrench corresponding to these numbers to separate the screws I mentioned from the body. Our drone's electronic components have wires. For these wires, we prefer the red cable for the positive side and the black cable for the negative side. Particularly during power separation and the disassembly or assembly stages, great care must be taken. At the same time, when stripping our wires, if there is a faulty wire present, we use our wire strippers to later reassemble or repair these wires. Thank you. With various connectors and heads, we can adjust the ends of the cables you see here and then ensure they fit tightly together. However, we use the soldering sound you hear here to connect or join our wires. Unlike soldering, you can adjust the heat through the front panel you see here. It is a tool that should be used with caution and must be used through soldering stations. This way, we are prevented from coming into contact with the heated soldering iron. Remember that solders that can reach up to 500 degrees are very dangerous and can be harmful to you. So, you need to be careful when using it. When we join our boards together, we can connect them using our hot soldering irons through the soldering tip you see here, our boards. Before soldering our boards, we first dip the ends into a soldering paste to prepare them. The solder you see here is made heat resistant before soldering, which helps it stick together more easily. The wire is a material that melts very easily with heat. Therefore, great care should be taken to prevent dripping or spilling. After we connect our wires, we use the heat shrink tubes you see here to prevent them from being exposed and to avoid short circuit situations. These heat shrink tubes are produced in different sizes, just like the set you see here. So we use these heat shrink tubes according to the lengths of our cables. The heat shrink tubes you see here can be shrunk using a lighter or a heat gun. After that, you can assemble the wires. Once the two wires are connected like this using the heat shrink tube, you won't have any exposed parts left. And therefore, since our cables are completely covered, you will have prevented any short circuit situations. The distances you see here, these are parts that are generally used to separate two plates, or two plastic pieces within a housing, or in assembly kits. The main goal of the parts here is to be both durable and at the same time. When using these, we can create an area with a certain distance where our electronic or mechanical components can fit in. During the assembly or disassembly stages here, our screws and bolts can wear out or may have some deformation at their ends. Therefore, during any maintenance or repair phase, we can replace our bolts and reuse them. You can tell that our bolts are worn out or deformed by the incompatibility of the threads inside with the horn screw. I will show you some of the electronic and mechanical components that are in this condition. The propellers you see here can come to you with or without a hub from the managing company. The head is used by attaching it directly to the end of the motor. Situationless films. You need to mount it like this here. Once your flight control cards arrive in this package, you can install them. During the assembly phase, you can secure it to the body using double-sided tape or screws. Of course, using the screw method here is particularly important for rigidity and to ensure that no part separates from the body during flight. Our batteries should be stored in their packages when not in use. In the case of swelling or any kind of deformation in our batteries, their health can be assessed by checking the voltages inside the cells, using the cell method you see here. If the voltage between the cells is not between the specified range, but lower, we can say that one of the cells is dead. Conversely, if the voltage is above the specified range, we can say that our battery is worn out or deformed. If the voltage between the cells is not between the specified range, but lower, we can say that one of the cells is dead. Or if the voltage between the cells is above the specified range, we can say that our battery is worn out or deformed. You can also understand this from the decrease in your flight time during the flight. Your ESCs should be heat shrinked in the same way before being mounted inside the body, along with the drones. As you can see here, your drones. There should be no exposed copper or conductors when connecting the ESCs to the motors. This way, it won't cause any short circuit when it comes into contact with the body or other equipment. At the same time, this is not just the case for one drone model, it's the same for different drones as well. When you look at the internal structure of a different drone, you'll see that the flight control board and power cables are quite close to each other. ESCs can be connected to the motors from different directions. Therefore, when assembling or disassembling the structure you see here, you should use the equipment I've shown very carefully. We've reached the end of our video. With the equipment you see here, you can perform the assembly, disassembly, and therefore the maintenance and repair of our drone